We're going to go ahead and get started. Looks like we got a nice, intimate crowd this morning. Well, we're just really glad you guys are here. I've been really excited about this morning. Been thinking a lot about, last night I was up with my wife and I just had a baby 3 weeks ago. And so I'm kind of in that zone of like very little sleep and kind of just walking around like a zombie. And last night, I guess this morning at about 4 a.m., I was listening to my son screaming and trying to get some sanity. And I just asked the Lord, I just said, Lord, at church, I just want to encounter you. And I want us to get into a place in your presence where we see you for who you are and we get to know you better and we encounter your presence so that we're changed in your love. And I was just praying over you guys and that the Lord would bless you and the Lord would fill you with joy and hope and peace. And so that's just my prayer over you guys as we worship. I just want to encourage you guys just to be free in worship. We're not here to like sing words on a screen, so whatever you need to do to get into a position where you can just worship and encounter the Lord, that's what I want for you guys. And we're just excited to be with y'all. So let's get rolling. Give thanks to the Lord, our God and King. His love endures forever. For he is good, he is above all things. His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise. Sing it again. Give thanks to the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord, our God and King. His love endures forever. For he is good, he is above all things. His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, yeah. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us. Forever, oh forever, forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever. With a mighty hand and outstretched arm, his love endures forever. For the life that's been reborn, his love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, oh sing praise, oh sing praise, yeah. Forever God is faithful, strong, forever God is with us, forever, oh forever, forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever, oh forever, forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever. One more time, forever, forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever. One more time. And forever God is faithful, Forever God is strong. Forever God is with us. Forever, oh, forever you are faithful. Forever you are strong. Forever you are with us. Forever. Moving on the waters, who's holding up the moon, who's peeling back the darkness, the burning light of noon, who's standing on the mountain, on the earth below, is bigger than the heavens, the lover of my soul, creator God, creator God, he is Yahweh, great I am, he is Yahweh, the Lord of all, he is Yahweh. So Sharon, he is Yahweh, righteous Son, he is Yahweh, three in one, he is Yahweh, creator God, he is Yahweh, great I am, he is Yahweh, Lord of all, he is Yahweh, so Sharon, he is Yahweh, righteous Son, he is Yahweh, three in one, he is Yahweh. It's he that makes me happy, it's he that gives me peace, yeah. It's he that brings me comfort, turns bitter into sweet. You're stirring up my passion, it's rising up in me, filling up my hunger, it's filling up my hunger. Oh, with everything I need, creator God, creator God, he is Yahweh, great I am, he is Yahweh, Lord of all, he is Yahweh. Rosa Sharon, he is Yahweh, righteous Son, he is Yahweh, three in one, he is Yahweh, creator God, yeah. Creator God, he is Yahweh, great I am, he is Yahweh, the Lord of all, he is Yahweh. Rosa Sharon, he is Yahweh, righteous Son, he is Yahweh, three in one, he is Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Creator God, he is Yahweh, Great I am, He is Yahweh. The Lord of all, He is Yahweh. Sharon, He is Yahweh. Righteous Son, He is Yahweh. 3 in 1, He is Yahweh. Creator God, Creator God, He is Yahweh. Great I am, He is Yahweh. Lord of all, He is Yahweh. Rose of Sharon, yeah. Rose of Sharon, He is Yahweh. Righteous Son, He is Yahweh. 3 in 1, He is Yahweh. Creator God, Creator God, He is Yahweh. Great I am, He is Yahweh. Lord of all, He is Yahweh. Rose of Sharon, Rose of Sharon, He is Yahweh. Righteous Son, He is Yahweh. 3 in 1. Oh.
You're
for letting me go. Lay it all down again. To hear you say that I'm afraid. You are my desire. You are my desire. No one else will do. No one else will do. There's nothing else can take your place. To feel the warmth of your embrace and help me find a way, bring me back to you. Oh, you're all I want, yeah. You're all I want. You're all I need. You're all needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near. You're all I want, yeah. You're all I want. You're all I need, Jesus. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Oh, help me know you are near. Help me know you are near. Help me know you are near. Oh, Jesus, you're all I need, yeah. Oh, you're all we want, Lord. You're all I want. Sing it out. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near. Help me know you are near. 'Cause where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. You are near, Lord. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Help us know that you're near, Lord. Your Spirit's here. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Oh, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Freedom reigning. Freedom reign in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. of mercy, showers of mercy and grace. Oh, falling on every face. There's freedom. Oh, you are so near. Oh, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. So help us know you are near, Lord. Oh, you bring freedom. It's all our bondage, all our fears, and all our iniquities, Lord. You paid the price for it all. Oh, you gave us freedom so we could boldly go into your presence, so we could be in the Holy of Holies with our Father, with our Father. Oh, you want to be with us, Lord. Yeah. So help us know you're near, yeah. You're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Oh, we know you are near. Oh, help me know you are near. Help me know you are near. Help me know you are near. Your presence, God. You are near, Jesus.
God, we thank you so much for your freedom, the freedom in this place, God, to worship you. God, we ask that you would draw us close to you, God. God, that you would really become all that we seek and all that we adore, because in you there's freedom. God, we gather this morning as believers, here to seek your face and hear the very words you have for us, God, that we would change and grow and mold and be formed into who you have us to be and what you've called us to be, God. And we thank you for that. We thank you for your freedom. God, as we continue in our service, we just worship you. We give you all the praise. We give you all the glory. Thank you. Thank you for your freedom. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. As we transition our service, if you would just do me a favor, if you just stand up one more time. I know a few of you just sat down, but stand up, give someone around you a high five, shake their hand, tell them it's good to see them, and just thank you for being with us this morning.
Good morning. What a great day to be alive and to be in church today. Today is the day the Lord has made. Amen. So if you don't know me, my name is Amy. I'm actually the children's pastor here at church. and I'm doing announcements today because the pastors are on a much-needed vacation. So we pray that they're getting refreshed, they're filled, and having a great time. So they'll be back next week. So the first thing I wanted to do is welcome any first-time visitors. If you're a first-time visitor today, there's a little card in the back of the chair in front of you. We would love to have a record of your visit if you could just fill that out. And if anybody has any prayer requests, just go ahead and fill that card out as well, and we as a staff will pray for you. So a couple of announcements. I'm told to talk about Camp Midtown. I've never been, but I heard it's really awesome. It's a great weekend to connect with other church members and to get away and be relaxed. If you have any questions about it, talk to Brandon. But you need to be registered by June 16th, which I think is Father's Day. So that's just coming up. Just register. And that includes 8 meals, 3 nights at Glacier Bible Camp up at Hungry Horse. I think the registration packets are out on the information table, so just pick one of those up and talk to Brandon if you have any questions. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the church barbecue, which is in just a couple of weeks on June 23rd. There's going to be more details about it all next Sunday, but it's fun fellowship, and it's going to be directly after service on June 23rd. Okay, so we're going to do today's offering, and I think there is also offering envelopes behind the seat in front of you, and if there isn't one, just raise your hand. I'm sure the ushers can get you one. But I wanted to read a couple of things about from this book that my husband and I really like. It's called Tithing. So I'm sure we've all heard these scriptures before, but in Malachi 3:10, it says, "Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there be me food in my house, and prove me now in this, says the Lord." So God is telling you to prove him when it comes to this. "If I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out such a blessing that there will be not room enough to receive it." So low investment, high return at no risk was a headline carried in the advertising section of a financial newspaper. This is what tithing is all about. Tithing is God's way of financing his kingdom on earth. It's his system of economics which enables the gospel to be preached and people to be saved and healed and delivered. Specifically, tithing underwrites and supports the ministry costs of the local church. It was never God's plan for his work to be financed by having bake sales, garage sales, or car washes. When you tithe in obedience to God's word, you are placed in a position to be blessed financially. It places you in a position to receive prosperity and financial security from God, even in difficult economic times. And God tells you to prove him in this. He's telling you to test me, and I will prove to you that it works. So another little passage I wanted to read in the Scripture Confessions for Finances. It's such a great little mini book. It says, no matter what shape you're in financially, God has a plan for your financial blessing. Even if you are in the middle of an overwhelming financial crisis, there is hope, there is help, and there is victory in the life-altering power of speaking God's word. You know, the Bible says to hold fast the confessions of your faith. So you have to confess what your faith is, and you find that faith in what God's word says about finances. So be faithful to speak his word, release your faith, and lay claim to the prosperity that is rightfully yours. So let's pray. Ushers, you can come down. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to give into your kingdom and to obey what your word says. Lord, we thank you for this, and we know that we are prosperous according to your word. Lord, we also pray for today's service. Lord, I just pray over Brandon, and I thank you that you give him the words to speak, and we hear from you today. Lord, we also pray for the pastors as they're getting refilled, refreshed, and they will come back new and have awesome things for us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Well, good morning. As Amy alluded to, Pastor Russ and Tracy are away this week. If you haven't noticed yet, they're not here. They are on a vacation. My cousin's actually getting married tomorrow night in Georgia. Kind of weird, a Monday night, long story. Getting married in Georgia tomorrow, and so they flew out. My sisters flew out this morning. My 2 youngest brothers are with them. And my brother Kyle, our youth pastor, is actually speaking at another church here in town this morning. And so I'm the last man standing. It's kind of like the Hunger Games, I win. It was kind of crazy. If you know anything about our family, the Smith family, I counted this morning, I think there's 18 of us. And Other than my two brother-in-laws being here, I am the only Smith in the building for the first time ever. Yeah. So it's great being here, and so really excited to share with you this morning. Now, I don't know about you guys, but driving around Missoula, there's cars I see on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis, when I'm driving. And maybe you've seen some of them too. The car I seem to see the most often, I don't know if you guys have seen the neon green Pontiac, the tail hanging out the back of the trunk. Anybody see that car? Lots. Oh, okay, I'm not alone. Awesome. How about the big yellow Dodge with the two white stripes down the hood? You guys ever see that one? A couple heads nodding. I see these two all the time. There's a third one I see on a regular basis. Hopefully you've seen it. I'm just mesmerized. I just want to ask the owner of this vehicle some serious questions. There's a red sedan, four-door sedan, and it literally has 8 to 10 feet of stuff on the hood, like from chairs to mattresses, clothing, beach ball, just packed. I don't know if you guys have seen it. That one's in the downtown area all the time. Yes, I'm seeing, all right. The fourth car that I tend to see on a regular basis, and I don't know about you, is the Subaru Outback. You guys ever see that in town? That's my point. The Subaru Outback should be the icon, the staple vehicle of Missoula. I mean, Missoula should be getting money from Subaru because it doesn't matter what street you're on, what intersection you're at. There is a Subaru either to your left or your right or directly in front of you. And how many of you here in this room own a Subaru or have once owned a Subaru? About 50% of the room, exactly. So anyway, I'm driving one day, and early in the morning, I'm on my way to work, and I'm at a stoplight, and the sun's kind of glaring through the windshield, and I realize there's this Subaru Outback in front of me that is just covered in bumper stickers. Maybe you've seen that car too. There's a few of those in town. But I mean, just bumper stickers from like top to bottom, left to right. And I'm sitting at the stoplight and just kind of, early in the morning on the way to work, and this one bumper sticker in the bottom right corner of this vehicle just caught my eye. And I read it, and it's a bumper sticker we've all seen and have seen many times, but I found myself thinking about that bumper sticker throughout the day. The bumper sticker said, "Well-behaved women seldom make history." And as the day went on, as I thought about that bumper sticker, I thought, why does that seem to have a negative connotation to that? What is the author of this quote trying to say? What's the meaning of this? And as the day went on, I found myself thinking about this bumper sticker on the Subaru Outback. Well, later that day in the afternoon, I just got hit with this revelation that I think what the author of this quote, "Well-behaved women seldom make history," was trying to say is that sometimes in life, if we want to change history, if we want to do something bigger than ourselves, we got to color outside the lines. We got to bend the rules. We got to maybe break the rules sometime. And I know that's hard for us in the church culture because we need everything nice, neat, orderly. But I think sometimes if we want to do what God's called us to do, if we need to we want to see that dream come to completion that God's birthed inside of us, we got to do something different. We got to bend the rules. Well-behaved men, well-behaved women, well-behaved children seldom make history. So this morning I ask you, how many of you want to make history? How many of you once had a dream, a desire, a destiny, something birthed inside of you that you wanted to see come to completion, and it hasn't for whatever reason? Back in the 1800s, late 1800s, there was a French scientist, biologist, botanist, ologist. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. It's French. I speak English. And he did this experiment with processionary caterpillars. Now, for the sake of this story, I'm going to assume nobody in this room is an expert with processionary caterpillars. So let me tell you a little bit about processionary caterpillars. Processionary caterpillars, what they do is they attach their head to the end, the back side of the caterpillar in front of them, and the caterpillar behind them attaches their head to the end of the caterpillar in front of them. And they live life playing one giant game of follow the leader. And so what this scientist did was he took a large flower pot and he successfully put processionary caterpillars all the way around the edge of this flower pot. And he just watched them and observed them just walk, follow the leader, single file line for days. On the seventh day, it was a full week, the caterpillars were beginning to change color, die, zero nutrition. But what's the most interesting part of the whole experiment was right in the center of the pot, right in the center of this flower pot was a pile of caterpillar food. I don't know what caterpillars eat, leaves, grass, I don't know. the food that the processionary caterpillars eat and survive off of is placed right in the middle of that. And the caterpillars just continue to walk in a single file line until they began to die. What if one caterpillar decided, you know what? I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to break the norm. I'm not going to be average. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to do something different than what society tells me I'm supposed to do. I'm going to take one step to the left, turn to this pile of food, and the end result would have changed the end of that entire experiment. Those caterpillars would still be living today. They'd be beautiful butterflies. But we do the same thing in life. We just go through the routine. We settle for average. We're just okay with just the mundane in life. God calls us to thrive. He doesn't want us to just survive this life. He's got plans and destinies and desires and dreams. He wants us to change history. He wants us to be history. But well-behaved men and women seldom make history. All throughout history, all throughout civilization, we are more advanced today than we have ever been before. And I'm not just talking social media, iPhones, iPads. I mean, our transportation. I mean, my sister's family left Missoula this morning and are going to be in Georgia this afternoon. I mean, wild. We are so advanced, yet we sit back and relax more than ever before in the desires and dreams God's placed in us. If you look through history at all the people that have achieved something, the Albert Einsteins, the Abraham Lincolns, what was it that set them apart? What is it that made them great? We've all heard the stories. Abraham Lincoln and Einstein were both considered to be relatively dumb or stupid. John D. Rockefeller grew up in extreme poverty, became one of the wealthiest the world's ever seen. I think of guys like Walt Disney, who was told in high school that he lacked imagination and creativity and would never amount to anything. So what is it about these individuals that set them apart? Was it that they were just born into it? They just happened to land in a place where everything they touched turned to gold? No. Yes, that happens at times, but I mean, the top CEOs, I was just reading recently in the last couple of weeks in Forbes magazine, currently the top 400 things, Forbes 400, 50% of today's CEOs graduated college with a 50% average or below. So what is it? Why do guys accomplish great things? It's not education. Yes, that's a small part. But what is it? What sets them apart? And as I think about this, I think there's several answers, but I think one is just the determination, perseverance. They want it all. They set their eyes on the goal. They see the big picture, the dream, and nothing that happens in life between here and there takes their eyes off that dream. Yes, they get knocked down, but they get up. They have disappointment, they have defeat, they have sickness, but they don't take their eyes off the goal. But why in the church? Why are we so far from that? Why are we okay with average? Why are we okay with just partial of what God has for us? Why do we seem to be satisfied with just a portion of what that picture is in our lives? And sadly, why have we become okay with that? Why? You know, God gives us dreams, then he asks us to give him our dreams back if we want to achieve anything. And we in the Christian circle, again, we don't want to give God our dreams because we think giving up our dreams means sell everything we have and move to Africa. I mean, God will take you from zero to hut in 4 seconds if I give him my dreams. But then the world starts to get in. We grow complacent. We hold back on those dreams. And we just become average. Now, I'm not at all picking on Walmart here. At all. I enjoy Walmart. Matt Gross and I hang out at Walmart on the weekends. Walmart is great. But I took a picture recently at Walmart, and now, me being a Christian and all, I have no idea what Walmart's trying to say. I just happened to walk by and thought this was a cool picture. The CEO of Walmart, I'm not sure what he was thinking, probably something on the lines of, wow, these people in Missoula play a lot of ping pong. They love ping pong. They play on nights and weekends. I mean, there's tournaments everywhere. And they play so much ping pong, they get really thirsty. We need to sell cups with our ping pong balls. No, that's not what Walmart's saying. Walmart's saying, if you're okay with average, if you're into binge drinking on the weekends with your friends, if you just want to be the norm in society, we'll hook you up. We're the one-stop shop. But we wonder, and again, I'm not picking on Walmart. I've seen kids with folding tables, solo cups, and ping pong balls. I just happened to walk by this in Walmart and thought, why is it so hard for us to walk the straight and narrow? Because society's made it so easy for us to be average. And this morning, God does not want us to be average by any stretch. God wants to be a part of your story. He wants you to be a part of his story. So why do we settle for average? Here's the big question in the morning. Why do we settle for average? Why are we okay with that? And I think the answer is kind of twofold. One, I think fear. But fear, there's so many fears. Fear of spiders, fear of snakes, fear of public speaking, fear of your mom and dad being on the other side of the world and being home alone in Missoula. I mean, there's a lot of fears. And fear is almost schizo. Fear plays both sides of the coin. Fear on one side will say, you're too young, uneducated, you lack experience. But then fear on the other side says, you're too old, you'll become too successful, you'll ruin relationships, you'll become all about the money. Just this week I was talking with Peter about a businessman here in Missoula who has been extremely successful. He's just a brilliant entrepreneur in building businesses. But he, time and time again, has built a business with low overhead, got it to the top, and then sold it and got out before he thought it was going to fail. And just this week, he was saying, it's been 40 years. I've yet to fail. I've been blessed with this gift, but I've been afraid of the success. Fear plays both sides of the coin. So when is that right moment? Is it one time when we were that 5-minute window when we were 18? Was it that 15-minute window in our 20s? Fear stops us from becoming great and doing what God desired and destined for us to do. But I think it's more than fear. I think it's the fear of failure, quite honestly. Nobody wants to fail. But the truth is fear or failure is universal. You know, in the Bible, Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. You can't argue with that. We have all fallen. We all fail. The Bible's full of failures. Abraham, David, Jacob, Noah, Moses, Jonah, the list goes on and on. But I want to focus in this morning on one particular failure. If you have your Bible, if you would, turn with me to Matthew 25. We're going to jump in verse 25 here, right in the mid-story. Now, this story, if you're familiar at all with the parable, this master has some talents, or in this particular translation I'm reading from, has some bags of gold that he gives to 3 men, tells them to go out and grow them, use them, maximize them. And so we pick up here with a third guy in verse 25. And I apologize. I have an issue when I read. It's just kind of a side note. My wife doesn't let me read to my children, because when I read, when it's like a mom talking to a child or children's book, I turn into this mean ogre voice, and I can't help but do that when I read. I can't tell you how many times last night I've read these 3 verses, and my wife's trying to help me, like, smile while you read, lift your eyebrows while you read. I just can't do it. So if I sound angry or mad, I'm not. Verse 25, so I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. See, you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has, he will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even when they have, will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Let's pray real quick. God, thank you so much for this morning, just for the opportunity to speak into the lives of Midtown Church. It's just an honor to be here, and I just ask that as we go on here and really look into your word and what you would have for us, God, that we would be inspired, that we would be motivated, that we would leave here different people than when we came in. God, I just ask you that any word that's not from you, that you'd remove from my lips and only place on my lips the words that you have for us today, God. So we worship you and we praise you and just thank you for this awesome weekend. In your name, amen. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I mean, when we refuse to take risks, we're no longer living by faith. I mean, it's time to bend the rules, color outside the box. Well-behaved men and women seldom make history. God's given us these desires, these dreams, these talents to use. And to the one who doesn't use them, that's scary stuff. Throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I'm not cool with average anymore. I'm ready to thrive. Romans 12:2 says, do not any longer be conformed to the patterns of this world. This world is average. It's time for us to be weird. Let's get crazy. Let's live. Let's focus on the dream, the desire, the destiny God's placed inside of us. So if we don't conquer that fear of failure, we paralyze ourselves from living the dream, and we so easily just sit by the wayside and just become another average story, the average Joe. So my first point this morning is, in order to have success, power, or fame, you must first fail and learn from your mistakes. And when I say success, power, and fame, I'm not talking celebrity status, Tom Cruise, he's so dreamy. No, not at all. I've recently read that 80% of people desire to be a celebrity. I mean, I think becoming a celebrity fame is one of the biggest drugs in the Christian circle right now. You know, a fame, really? I mean, we got the Alpha and Omega, the God of the universe, who created you, who desires to know you intimately, who destined you, who has you living for today. If he was done with you, you wouldn't be alive. He has a plan for you. Fame? I mean, God's on Twitter and he follows you. He's on Facebook and he likes you. Fame? No. But what I'm saying here, learn from your mistakes. We got to embrace adversity. When we fall, we got to get back up. Failure can be a positive. It's a perspective thing. You know, I'm told that in the backwoods of Arkansas, there's a man who worked both as a veterinarian and as a taxidermist. He had a big sign on his front door that says, "Remember, either way, you get your dog back." It's all about perspective, and that's how we need to treat adversity, treat failure. You know, I love Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. When we fall, we got to learn to fall forward, fail forward, so that when we do get up, we're one step closer to the dream God has birthed inside of us. We can't be afraid to fall. We got to learn from our mistakes so that when we stand up, we can take one more step. Now we're 2 steps ahead of where we were before the failure. It takes patience. It takes time to get there. But it's time to thrive. No more surviving this world. We got to break average. We've all heard the poem in elementary school, middle school. If at first you don't succeed, try again. It's unfortunate how untrue that poem is in today's society. We have a society, we have a culture that tells us quitting's okay. We say if at first you don't succeed, quit. Throw in the towel. Be average. Don't accomplish anything. I think we need to change that poem to, if at first you do succeed, try something harder next time. God's got something bigger for you. He's got bigger plans. He's got a destiny. He's birthed something inside of you. He gave you that dream. He's not done with you. You're not average. He's got something so much more for you. I love what Tiger Woods says. He says, I've never learned anything from a tournament I've won. Thomas Edison says, many of life's failures are people who do not realize how close they are to success when they gave up. How close are you this morning to that dream, that desire? Is it right around the corner? Or are you considering quitting, throwing in the towel, giving up? Whatever that dream is, whatever that desire is. Do you want to change history? Or are you going to quit? You don't know. One more step, one more failure, one slight change in direction. And the dream may be there. So Brandon, that's great. I understand all that. We got to learn from our mistakes. I've been hearing that since elementary school. You know, perfect practice makes perfect. Yeah, I've heard that. That's great. But how do we live a life above average? And I think the only way we can become an achiever and not average is we must refuse to let our failures get a hold of us. I think we have two options when we fail. We can, 1, settle for average, or 2, we can cross the line of the impossible, of what we think is impossible. One of my favorite stories throughout history is Christopher Columbus. Now, for this story, I'm going to assume you all know who Christopher Columbus is. But what I love about Christopher Columbus is he had this desire, he had this dream. He was going to cross the Atlantic Ocean to the new world when the entire world is telling him it can't be done. The world's flat. You're going to fall off the other side. So he has that against him. He has the life on the ocean, the storm. It's never been done. They don't know what to expect, but we know today that there's storms, there's raging winds, there's waves, there's seasickness, there's heat, there's rain, there's life on the sea isn't easy. We know Christopher Columbus has 3 crews that are threatening mutiny, telling him he's crazy. We're going to take you over and turn these ships around. But I think what's most fascinating about this is Christopher Columbus' 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the... Oh, you guys are good, history majors. Santa Maria. What's amazing is the largest of his 3 ships was only 66 feet long. I measured this week, this room. That wall to that wall is 79 feet. All 3 of Columbus's ships would fit in this room side by side. These are boats. These aren't ships. I mean, you can go down to Gold Brett's today and you can buy yourself a 66-foot boat. I mean, and I'm assuming, based on the day and the age, that these boats, these mini ships, weren't cutting edge. I mean, it's wood and nails and holes and leaks. And so odds are against Christopher, but he has this dream. He has this desire. He's going to discover the new world. What I love the most about Christopher Columbus is in his journal, in his diary, he would go down into his cabin each night, the dark, wet, musty-smelling cabin of whichever ship he was on. And he would write in his journal. But he concluded his journal writing every day with, "This day we sailed westward." He didn't know when the finish line was. He didn't know where it was. But he knew, in the middle of adversity, in the middle of mutiny, in the middle of the storms of life, just one more step. I'm going westward. I'm not taking my eyes off the dream, off the big picture, off what God has birthed inside of me, what God has desired for me to do and accomplish. Columbus changed history. It's because of Columbus that you and I are here today. No more average, church. Can't let our failures, the storms of life, get a hold of us. All throughout history, not just Columbus, there's been individuals who have some of the most notable failures. I'd love to share a few of those with you. I love reading these stories. There was a young man, his lifelong dream was to attend West Point. He was turned down twice. He applied a 3rd time and was accepted. His name, General Douglas MacArthur. In the first year of operation, Coca-Cola sold only 400 cans of Coke. This is mind-blowing right here. Both HP, Hewlett-Packard to the layperson, and Atari turned down the opportunity to buy the first Apple computer. First-year sales for Apple were $2.5 million. 2012 sales for Apple, $74 billion. Henry Ford went bankrupt twice. His 3rd company is done fairly well. How about this one? 23 publishers turned down a book written by an author who called himself Dr. Seuss. The 24th publisher accepted it, and in its first year of print sold more than 6 million copies of his book. We can't let our failures get a hold of us. We got to get back. We got to get back up. We got to brush the dirt off our pants. We got to move forward. God has a dream, a desire, something bigger than average for us. But we so easily get turned down by that publisher and think, oh, I'm not an author. This isn't for me. That dream, that desire, God placed that in you for a purpose, for a season, for a time such as this. We can't be average. But it's so easy to become average because we let those failures get us down and out. So in order to have success, we must learn from our mistakes. The only way to become greater than average is not to let failure get a hold of us. And 3rd point here, every major difficulty we face is a fork in the road. And we have 2 options: break down or break through. But why do we face forks in the road? I don't know. Maybe to test our perseverance, make us rely and trust on God. But I think we as humans, we have a tendency to face these forks in the road because we overestimate the event and we underestimate the process in getting there. We overestimate what it's going to take. We assume that I'll just be there tomorrow. It'll be easy. and we get burnt out because we have short failures. We underestimate the process. Now, if you know anything at all about me, you will know that I am a huge sports fan. Huge sports fan. Like, my sports knowledge up here is 10 times all of you guys put together. Honestly, I'm not bragging. It's not a good thing. I mean, what if I use my mind for something a little more productive? I know, I hear you. My wife gets tired of ESPN radio, me telling her scores and updates. She doesn't care. But if you know anything about me, you will know that there are 3 teams in sports I hate, and a 4th that I detest. Hate might be a strong word. I hate the Los Angeles Lakers. I hate the Miami Heat. Go Pacers. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. And I detest, I can't even say their name because it's not allowed in our house, but the team in pinstripes from New York, the Y word is not allowed in the Smith household. Shh, not in church. I am not a Yankee fan. However, I do want to take a moment and talk about a story with the Dallas Cowboys. It's one of the most phenomenal stories in sports history that so easily and often gets overlooked. Back in 1990, in the NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys had the 17th pick in the draft. They drafted a young kid from a running back who was small but quick from the University of Florida. His name's Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith came into the NFL in 1990. In his first game with the Dallas Cowboys, he carried the ball 2 times for 2 yards. Emmitt Smith, at some point during that year of his career, in a press conference, stated that his dream, his desire, his goal was to become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. People laughed at Emmitt. ESPN, Twitter would have been all over him. I mean, Emmitt, have you not heard of guys like Walter Payton? Jim Brown? I mean, Barry Sanders is in his prime right now. You're just a quick little kid from Florida who averages 1 yard per carry your rookie year. No, Emmitt, come on. No. Well, what's amazing is we get to the end of the story. October 27th, 2002, Dallas, Texas. Emmitt Smith is given the ball, runs up the middle for 12 yards against the Seattle Seahawks, stands up, and on the star celebrates as he has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher, surpassing the yardage put up by the greatness, Walter Payton. What's amazing to me is Emmitt Smith, over the course of his 13-year career, was knocked down every 4.2 yards. Every 4.2 yards. I don't know about you, but I know me. One time across that line and Reggie White hit me, 4.2 yards, I don't know, I'm getting up. But Emmitt gets up. He goes back to the huddle. Goes out for the next play. 4.2 yards. Gets knocked out again. Emmitt gets up, brushes the dirt off his pants, pulls the grass out of his mask, gets back in the huddle. We jump to the end of Emmitt's 13-year career. That 4.2 yards equates to 9.6 miles. 9.6 miles getting knocked down every 4.2 yards. Me? There's no way. And the same thing happens to us in life. We live life and we get up in the morning, we walk outside and we get hit with something. And we don't get up. It's only 4.2 yards of a 9-mile life, career. But Emmitt saw the big picture. He saw the goal, the dream he had as a rookie in 1990. I am going to become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. It took him 13 years. We so easily quit. We go 4.2 yards, we get knocked down, and we're fine, but we realize, I thought I was going to get there on one run, just one day. We don't realize it takes 13 years. to live the dream, the desire that God has placed inside of us, the calling he has on our life. Emmett saw the big picture. I think if Emmett was with us this morning, if Emmett was standing right here, that'd be pretty cool, except I don't like the Cowboys, but it'd be cool if Emmett was here, if Emmett could tell us his story. But I think Emmett would say, Midtown, you guys got to concentrate on what you can do, not on what you can't do. I knew I could only go 4.2 yards at a time, but it's the big picture, it's the long-range goals that keep us from being defeated by the short-term failures in life. It's time we stop being average. It's time that we thrive in the church and in our lives. God didn't call us to survive. He calls us to thrive. God has so much more for us than 4.2 yards. So what are you going to choose? Breakdown or breakthrough? I hope you choose breakthrough. I hope I choose breakthrough. I know at times it's easier to just lay on the side of the road and bleed. I understand that life's tough. Every day we're hit with overwhelming news, stories, sickness, disease, car accidents, stress, financial issues, debt. But we got to remember that that's 4.2 yards of the big picture. That's 4.2 yards of your life. That's 4.2 yards of a 9-mile dream and desire God has given you, that God has for you. And he wants to be a part of your story, but he can't be if we're okay with average. It takes patience to see your dream, to see that 9-mile career. Now, if there's two things in church that you don't ever want to pray for, first one is humility. Don't ever ask God for humility because the boy will hook you up. I mean, you'll wake up tomorrow morning wearing a barrel and suspenders and God will be like, all right, have a good day. He'll give you humility. You will be humble in about 4 seconds. But the second one is patience. Don't ever ask God for patience until you're ready. Just this last week over Memorial Day weekend, last Sunday we took off and went over to Spokane for a couple of days with our kids. And if you want to learn patience, take my 3-year-old Boston to Chuck E. Cheese, my 3-year-old son. Go spend an hour in Chuck E. Cheese with Boston and you will learn patience. I kid you, I got videos on my phone of him. The kid is spastic and out of control. We go up, he wants to play skee ball. Now I don't know about you, I love skee ball. If Missoula had a skee ball league, I would be in it. You know, we'd have all the nice matching shirts and our names embroidered, and we'd walk into Chuck E. Cheese on Tuesday nights and be like, sorry kids, league night. So we're at skee ball and Boston wants to play skee ball, so we put in his token. And down this rack comes 8 or 9 shot puts. Just these wood balls that to Boston weigh 10 pounds apiece. And so I say, all right, Boston, here you go, bud. You need to take that ball, and you need to throw it, and you need to get up in those rings. I shouldn't have used the word throw, because Boston takes that shot put, and he throws it. But Boston's accuracy he doesn't have accuracy. That ball goes 3 lanes over, almost hits a little girl. It's bouncing around, it's hitting the metal frame, the cage. I'm just like, okay. So I go over, excuse me, I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, I'm getting the ball, I come back over. All right, bud, you can do it. Let's go, come on, let's get some tickets. Come on, we got to go win plastic stuff. And so give Boston the ball, Boston takes the ball, and again, he throws it. So I go, Boston, all right, bud, just go up and put it in there. So Boston gets up, and he walks up the ramp, and he goes up, and he goes to throw the ball in. Well, just my luck, Chuck E. Cheese Nazi comes walking up. She goes, excuse me, sir, we can't have the kids up there. You need to get him down. I look at Boston, I look at her, I look at Boston, I said, where's your mom? You can't get up there, Boston, you get down. So I get Boston down, and coincidentally, Courtney comes walking up right at that time, and she goes, Boston, you just gotta roll it, bud. You don't need to throw it, just roll it. So Boston kind of bends over in his little 3-foot frame and takes the ball and rolls it, and it goes about 8 inches and comes back. She's got to roll it harder. So he rolls it, goes about 3 or 4 feet, comes back. And I go, a little bit harder, bud, you can do it. 3 or 4 feet, he turns and walks off. The ball hits the ground, takes off rolling, and he was on to something else. And so I'm left there with 9 shot puts, trying to figure out what to do with that. I know if I roll the balls, I'm going to lose him. If I go with him, somebody else is going to get our tickets. I rolled the 9 balls. But Patience, it takes time. It takes time to get there. It takes time to achieve the dream and the goal that God has put inside of us. And I'll be honest, I didn't want patience until I read a verse and I learned how God handled the Israelites and their patience. The Israelites in Exodus, they've just been freed from slavery. There's this sense of this 400 years of slavery has come to an end. It's like God is pulling them back in this slingshot and about to launch them into the promised land. They're ready to go. They're ready to go to battle. They know the Philistines are out there waiting for them. 400 years of slavery, they are jacked. 5-hour energy, Rockstar, P90X, nothing. They are jacked. 400 years of manual labor getting ready to head to the promised land. So they're pulled back. They're ready to go. It's go time. And we look at Exodus 13, verse 17 and 18. It's verse 60 of 17. There we go. And when Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them to the road through the Philistine country, though it was shorter. For God said if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So God led the people around by the desert road to the Red Sea. The Israelites went up out of Egypt ready for battle. The Israelites were ready. They went out ready for battle. They were ready to go. It was go time. But God took them the long way. God took them on the desert road. Maybe right now in your life, you feel like you're on the desert road. Maybe you feel like you're out there all alone. You've blew it. You've messed up. You're a mess up. But what if that desert road experience, what if that's not a bad thing? We get out there on the desert road and we're like, I blew it. Where's God? Things should be going better, faster, bigger. Where did I fail? What did I do wrong? But no, what if the desert road, what if that's a place where a loving God takes us and he knows that you're not ready for the battle ahead? The Israelites would go on and face the Philistines 1,000 times. But he knew if they went out and saw the Philistines at that moment, they would turn and go back to Egypt, go back to slavery, go back to the manual labor. God led them on the desert road. The desert road's a good place to be. When you're out on the desert road and there's nothing else around, all you can do is hear God. God's preparing you. When he's silent, you can see this all throughout Scripture. When God is silent, he's preparing something else for the battle that's ahead. The Israelites would go on, defeat Goliath, defeat the Philistines, take over the promised land. But it was a matter of timing, a matter of being patient and staying on the desert road. Patience isn't easy. You find yourself in those wrestling moments with God. And for some reason, that's almost like that bumper sticker. It has a negative connotation. I've just been wrestling with God lately. That's a good place to be. That's a sign of intimacy. You can't wrestle anybody that's more than an arm length away. Chris and I can't wrestle right now. He's too far away. But we get close. We have an intimacy. We're within an arm's length away. We can wrestle. So in your desert road, we're not going to wrestle. But in your desert road moment, embrace that intimacy with God. Continue to wrestle. Continue to keep your eyes focused on the goal. But understand it's patience. You got to take the patience because the short-term failures will try to knock you out. It would have been so easy for the Israelites to be ready to roll. Let's take on the Philistines. Here we go. 400 years, we're ready. Get to the battlefield. Back to slavery. And we do the same thing. Embrace the desert road. Finally, we got to stop trying to fix ourselves. We rely too much on ourselves and not enough on God. In our growth groups, I don't know if you're in a growth group at all. If you're not, you should be. But in the Christian circle, there are words that we tend to use. We tend to throw out, especially in growth groups, small groups, those settings. And those words are authentic and transparent. We hear them all the time. And so we'll paint a picture here. I imagine you've been in this place. You're sitting around some people's house. You got kind of a small group thing going on. You're just kind of hanging out, visiting, chips and queso. Life's good. The Yankees are losing. And you're just kind of hanging out. And all of a sudden, somebody takes the air out of the room by saying, you know what? I just need to be completely authentic and transparent right now. The room gets silent. Everybody leans in. We've all been there. This happens. And that person leans forward and says, I just haven't been reading my Bible like I should. sinner. No. We need to pray for a hedge of protection around that guy. He is struggling. And then the guy sitting to his right throws out the third Christian word we like to use. He goes, I want to get vulnerable too. He goes, I haven't been journaling every day. Oh no, are you serious? We have two in the same room? And so we get around and we pray for them. We pray for them and we spend the next 20 minutes praying for these two, that they would read their Bible more, that they would journal more. But what about the next guy? Maybe the next guy in his life right now is struggling with, he's looking at some images on his computer he shouldn't see. He's watching some movies that are inappropriate in the magazines. You can't be porn guy and follow Bible journal guy. So what do? We stuff it down. We just push it down inside of us. And we become that fantastic plastic Christian. How are you? Fine. How's church? Fine. How are the kids? Fine. How's school? Fine. How's the job? Fine. Fine. So we push that down and we become average because we try to fix it ourselves. If the worship team wants to come up, we're going to wrap up here. But when I was 9 or 10 years old, I saw this happen firsthand. Now, at the time of being 9 or 10 years old, I never thought I would preach about it or ever remember this story. But just last week at Chuck E. Cheese, it all came back to me. I was 9 or 10 years old and had a birthday party. And we were at, I don't know if you guys remember Godfather's Pizza when it was back behind Little Caesars, CVS in that area. When it was kind of like the Chuck E. Cheese. It had skee ball. There was no league night, unfortunately, but it had the games. The kids could all go in and make their own pizza, personal pan pizza, and then you go out and open presents, and they bring you your pizza. And so we're all there. And I remember this kid in my class by the name of Dennis. Went to school with me. And Dennis was at this birthday party. Now, Dennis was one of those kids that was a little bigger than the average 9-year-old kid. He was what we called big boned, husky maybe. But Dennis, just thinking about making a pizza would make Dennis sweat on his upper lip. And so we make our pizzas and we're sitting down at the table and they bring the pizzas out. And some of these kids have this great idea. Let's unscrew the red peppers and see if Dennis will take some red peppers. So sure enough, Dennis gets to the table and some smart aleck kid, it could have been me, I don't know, says, hey Dennis, why don't you put some red peppers on your pizza? So Dennis picks up that little jar. I can still see it so clearly today. Takes it, dumps it on his plate, red peppers everywhere. Now, again, if you don't know anything about red peppers, let me tell you, they are not shy. I mean, when red peppers walk into the room, they're like, hello. But Dennis picked up that piece of pizza, wiped the peppers off with his hand, and in complete embarrassment and shame, took a bite and ate that pizza. As the sweat continued to pour off his upper lip, on his brow, his face turns red and he continues to eat and wipe and eat. And he's got peppers and grease on his hand. Now, I don't know about you, but in my life, I've put a whole lot worse on my plate than red peppers. I've messed up. I have failed. I have fallen hard. I don't know what you have on your plate. I mean, I might have motor oil, dead batteries, a dead bird, dead squirrel. I don't know. But we try to fix it ourselves. We try to wipe it and eat and push it down in shame and embarrassment. But I love this. Mark 2:17. Jesus didn't come for the healthy. He came for the sick. He didn't come for the perfect. He came for the mess ups. He came from the broken plates. He came for the plates covered in red peppers. He came for you. He came for me. And all of our failures, he came for me. So no matter what has happened in your past, be encouraged this morning. God has a bright future for you. But I want to leave you this morning with 4 simple words to take with you this week. Be sick and be loved. Don't hide it. Don't push it down. Don't try to hide those red peppers. Be sick. We got a God who came for us, a God who loves us. It's not the perfect he came for. He came for the broken plates. He came for you and me. So be sick. It's okay. But in the middle of that sickness, be loved. Let those around you love you. Be authentic, transparent, vulnerable, whatever word you want to use. But it's time that we stop settling for average. And that happens because we're afraid. We live in fear of failure, a fear of what others will think. It's time for us to step out and cross the line and be of the impossible. Right now in this room is full of Emmett Smiths, Christopher Columbuses, Walt Disneys. We have creativity, we have the imagination. We are so advanced, we have the resources available to us. But why are we content with average, church? It's time we thrive. No longer conform to the patterns of this world. You guys stand with me. Are you willing? As you leave here this week, I ask you, are you willing? When it seems like the world and life knocks you down, will you be an Emmett Smith? Will you stand back up, wipe the dirt off your pants, pull the grass out of your face mask, go back to the huddle and take one more snap? Because you don't know. All-time greatest, maybe just one play away. Are you willing? Are you afraid of failing this week? Maybe it's in a job interview. Maybe it's the economy, the housing market. Maybe you're single. Maybe you think you're a bad parent. Where in your life this morning do you feel like you're a failure? Where do you feel like you're out on that desert road? This morning, as we close, I want to present 3 opportunities for you. And I believe all 3 of these opportunities, everybody here falls into one of these 3 categories. And the first one and most important one I want to address is maybe this morning you're failing spiritually. Maybe this guy Jesus we're talking about here at Midtown, who loves us and has a plan for you and has dreams and desires and hopes for you in your future, maybe you don't know him. Maybe you have no relationship with him. But today is the day you decide, you know what? I'm standing up, I'm brushing the dirt off my pants, I'm getting back in the huddle. I am crossing the line of the impossible, and I am not going to fail. I am not a failure. If that's you this morning, and you want to meet this man Jesus that we talk about and that we are so passionate about here at Midtown, I'm not going to do anything weird. I'm not going to call you up here. I just ask, would you just simply just raise your hand? Awesome. Right. Anybody else? With every head bowed, every eye closed, I just want to focus in here on 2 more areas. One, maybe you feel like you're failing this morning because of your past, decisions you've made. Maybe that's you. Maybe this morning you were standing here thinking, you know what? I'm a failure. I blew it. The truth is, you don't have to be. Failure is universal. God has plans for you. He's got hopes and dreams and aspirations. He doesn't want you to be average. You're not average. He's got so much more for you. So if that's you this morning, if you feel like, you know what, Brandon? I've messed up. I've blown it. Would you just simply raise your hand this morning so we can pray with you? You're not alone. Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? Just keep raising those hands. I just want to pray for you this morning. You're not a mess up. God created you. God destined you. He desired you to be here today. He's not done with you. I said it earlier. If he was done with you, you wouldn't be alive today. If you're still sucking wind, he's got a plan. Anybody else? Your past, the mistakes you've made, holding you back, holding you down. All right. Third opportunity here is maybe God has birthed something inside of you. You have that old dream. You have that old desire. When you were a kid, you wanted to be a fireman. You wanted to be Superman, Batman. But at some point in life, you've lost that dream. You wanted to be a businessman. You wanted to be self-employed and own your own company. But we've lost that dream. If that's you, if you need to be proactive this week, you need to take a risk. You need to step out. You need to do something God has been calling you to do, but you keep pushing it back because of the fear of failure. If that's you, I want you to raise your hand. There's hands going up all over the room. Because God has something for you. God created you for this moment. He created you for now. It's time to thrive, church. It's time to thrive. No more just surviving. No more just doing enough just to get by. He's got plans. He's got hopes. He's got dreams. He's created for you. Just to sit by the wayside and be average isn't what it's about. So would you this week take some God-honoring risks? Step out in faith. Just say, God, I'm going to trust you in this area of my life. With my time, with my relationships, with my finances, whatever you have for me, I'm going to step out. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to learn to embrace adversity. I'm going to choose break through rather than break down. I'm going to learn from my mistakes because I'm done being average. It's time to thrive and time to live for all you've called and desired me to be. Let's pray. God, we worship you. Thank you so much for being here this morning, God. I thank you for every individual who raised their hand, whether it's for first-time relationship with you, whether it's because of their past, God, or because of their future. God, use us. Change us. Don't let failure keep us down, God. Help us become the next Emma Smith, the next history maker, God, because well-behaved men and women seldom make history. Well-behaved members of Midtown Church seldom make history, God. We want to change history. We want to live a life and do everything you have called us to do, God. God, I apologize for being average. I apologize for sitting by the wayside. God, I apologize for wasting time in my past. God, let us be proactive from this moment forward to go and grasp the very things you've put in our reach, God, that would embrace those moments, those intimacy moments with you, God, that the desert road is a time to learn, to be nurtured, to be prepared for the next battle ahead of us, God. God, bless us. Bless this church. Bless Midtown. God, bless Pastor Russ and Tracy as they travel home this week. God, I just thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning with these great people, God. We worship you. Praise your name, God. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. Help us embrace adversity. Help us to embrace our failures. God, that we would thrive in this life that you have called us to live. God, we worship you. You're a great God. We praise your name. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Well, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for the opportunity to speak this morning. Just bless your week. Remember, get plugged into a growth group, Financial Peace University. We got a barbecue coming up in a couple weeks. Camp Midtown is going to be a blast, as Amy said earlier. Get registered for that. Grab a registration form. Love to have you there. Have a great week. Love you guys.